Today on Outside the Box Reviews, Aliens Week continues, and today we're taking a look at the NECA Alien Wave 6 Amanda Ripley figure in her compression suit. Now I gotta be honest, this was the figure I was looking forward to least in this entire wave because it's another pretty standard retool repaint of one of NECA's Nostromo spacesuits. But it works out well because, well, we see this exact same spacesuit used in the video game Alien Isolation, so despite the fact that we're only getting a couple new pieces here, it's definitely not an unwarranted version of the character by any means. So let's take a closer look. And while the Nostromo crew in those suits came with harpoon guns or flashlights, Amanda comes with just a straight up gun. Very nicely detailed here. We have the black handle with some texture on it. You can see it looks like a revolver, so we have that little section there where the bullets would go. It looks like it would come out, but it won't. A little hammer back here, the trigger, nice gunmetal gray color. My only gripe is there's no hint of a barrel. It's just solid there at the end. But beyond that, it is a really nicely sculpted piece here. Taking a look at the character, it's something we've gotten quite a bit before, but I'm always happy to see these spacesuits. I think NECA did a really good job with them, and I understand why you'd want to bring this design out time and time again. Then we get the full-on landing gear version with this, unlike the escape pod version that Amanda's mother came in. And this is actually the cleanest I think we've ever seen one of these suits. Both the Dallas and the Kane version was very dirty. I guess the Ellen Ripley version was nice and clean, but kind of felt like a little bit of a different suit being so white. But we have the big scuba diver looking dome here. We have the two cables that plug into it on the back coming off the backpack. Big open dome there. We have the light up there at the top. I think it looks pretty darn good. Now, just like the other figures, you can unpeg these hoses from the back. The helmet splits open in two different places. You could pop off this top here, and then you could pop off the bottom. Now, I believe the reason it pops apart in two stages is to get most characters' heads in or out of here, but Amanda's head's small enough you can actually just rotate the base of it and pop it right off. So then we have our Amanda Ripley head sculpt, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks a lot like the character in the game. It's a pretty simple head sculpt, but it does its job. She has her kind of leather helmet underneath, which is a holdover from Alien, so I think that's pretty nice. Good stitching detail, great paint detail. Pretty much everything you'd want in a NECA figure. Going on the rest of the body, there's the big rings around her neck that help hold this helmet on. We have the armor here on the chest, says Ripley. Has the logo. We got the big shoulder pieces here that are rubberized, so it lets her still have arm articulation, but gives a great look. With a quilted suit underneath, big bulky gloves and everything on here. Big bulky gloves are here. We got the trigger finger on her right side, and a gripping hand on her left. The backpack on the back with the, I believe, oxygen tanks or whatever she has to breathe in here. All different buttons and dials on it, looking really good. On her back, we do have the spot where the Nostromo patch is on the other characters, or the American Tricentennial patch, I think, is actually here. And they've left it blank on this figure, which is right, but it's kind of lame that the patch shape is still there. This extra box here at her waist, and this actually fell off of the figure right at a package, but it's really easy to glue back on, so minor QC issue, but it might have just been something I did trying to open the figure a little too roughly. Got some pouches here on her legs. Continuing on the quilted pattern here, there's buckles all over everything as well, which I think look really good. We got the big hockey pads here at her shins, and then the big clunky boots that go along with this suit. For articulation, the head is on a ball joint. It's the head and neck combined, which is normal for these kind of suits. Can move forward and back pretty easily, side to side, tilt, all the good stuff. Of course, with the helmet on, you can't move the head, so you have to move it first. The arms are on pin socket joints, so go very far forward and back, actually all the way around. Go out to the side really far. Upper bicep swivel. They hinge and a rotation at the elbow, but the hinge is pretty lame, as it has been with all these suits. It's just too bulky to allow much movement. Hand is on a ball joint with a really good range of motion. You can swivel it as well as move up and down really freely. Got a mid-torso ball joint, so it'll go side to side, forward and backwards. Hindered a little bit by all the bulkiness of the suit, but overall pretty good. You can also tilt side to side. Another ball joint there at the waist, so you can rotate the figure, also tilt forward, back, side to side. It's a little harder to rotate there because of the box there at her waist, which I think is probably how I knocked it off in the first place. This lower torso being the rubberized diaper, as I call it, you get great leg articulation. Go pretty far forward, pretty far back. go out to the side, and you could also swivel at the upper leg. At the knee, you could bend a lot better than the arms, but it's only about 45 degrees. You could also swivel at that joint, but it's not really going to move the leg out. It's just going to turn it side to side. Then we do have a pretty good ball joint here at the foot. And for a comparison, here's all the other spacesuit bodies we've gotten from NECA thus far. On the left, we have the Ellen Ripley, and of course we have our Amanda Ripley here. We have Dallas, and then we have Kane all the way there on the end. And it's really good to see the Amanda Ripley and Kane next to each other to realize that while they're both wearing yellow suits, they're both very, very different looking, which I appreciate. And we can also kind of appreciate we've gotten a variety of different accessories with these, even if the characters themselves are basically the same thing with new head sculpts every time. And to be honest, I think if you're gonna skip any figure in this wave, this is the one to skip. It has the least original stuff going for it, really just a gun and a head sculpt that make it unique from the other figures you've gotten in the past, but I like it. I can't even really explain why I like it. Maybe it's just that we haven't gotten one of these suits in a couple waves, so maybe I was kind of missing it for some stupid reason. Or if it's just that I feel like it's really well executed, but I like this figure, so I'm gonna give it a recommend. I know this one's not gonna be for everybody, but I like it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And Alien Week continues next time, but until then, remember, in space, no one can hear you review action figures.